going to be impacted by that with respect to your registry. Now, whether that means you have to go out there and get some new product, a new registry provider, need to build something yourself in order to be capable, there's going to be some impact to you. So you can start thinking along these lines. Okay, so we're going to do a capabilities review. We're going to look at our industry, policy determinations, registry solution. Finally, do we go to tender or how do we go about securing some new software? First of all, our capabilities review. First one we'll look at is our administrative expertise. What are we good at as delegates? I guess is the first thing. If we're going to run our, we are the delegate for .NY. What are we good at? Before we even look at technology, before we even look at policy, we need to work out the staff we have on board. What is our technical expertise of those staff? Do we have DBAs, network administrators, Unix administrators? Do we have some people that can configure and run our office for us? What are our timelines for delivery? Once again, important, so we're not to rush. We need to make sure that we have a set plan and process. And finally, and importantly, do we have enough money? Because money is going to be a big factor in whether we go out and buy it from somebody, do we license it from someone, do we build it ourselves? Okay, all of these contribute to that fact. Okay, so the industry model that we choose. We have, conventionally, a regulatory body, or the delegate, the people that make the decide on the policy. You have a registry operator, and we know in the past that these two can be brought together and be the one entity. Okay? You can appoint registrars. You don't have to, but you can. You can be the registrar yourself. So all of these top three can be bundled in together. But if we appoint registrars, do we allow them to have resellers? And of course, we have registrars. So the point of this slide is we need to decide on what our model is going to be. Are we going to have multiple registrars and ourselves included as a registrar, as the regulatory body? Or are we going to leave that to them? You need to decide this first and foremost because it impacts on what sort of registry option you're going to choose down the track. Okay? Next, policy. Why is policy important? Well, we're going to go into it here. Policy determinations are critical. They impact a lot of what you do next. You need to define your goals. What is the purpose of your policy? And how do we go about getting there? Once again, consult with our stakeholders. We've been through this process with a number of CCTLDs and getting all the way through the policy development process and then finding out you didn't consult somebody in government that was important, having to roll all the way back again, it's time consuming and it hurts and it's costly. Plan to incorporate governance factors, legal frameworks, and importantly as well, moral and cultural values. Are we capturing that? As I said, that very first slide, we're doing this on behalf of the internet using public. We need to make sure we capture all of those three things. So, if we get our policy requirements down and we get an understanding of our administrative capabilities and our requirements, we're headed towards the right solution. Couldn't put that big enough on the slide. In fact, if we had another screen, I'd write that up on there. However, when it comes to policy, I don't know how many clicks it's going to take to do this, you can fall into the trap of, well, we want policy that is huge. We want to make sure we got everybody, you've got to have a local presence. You have to be left-handed. You've got to be able to hop on one leg as you do your domain registration. Whatever it is, whatever the policy requirements we require for our domain, we want to bring it in. We want to have the biggest rules out. And that's great. But what you have to understand is that is going to impact the technology and the cost, the customization that is required in order to validate or in order to deal with those registrations. So, the converse of that is if we have a very simple policy, it can allow for a simple technical solution, and that's no problem. But unfortunately, this doesn't always meet our needs. Example, you can have no restrictions whatsoever on your domain name. Okay, it's an open namespace like .com, and it would slide nice and easy into many of the service providers that can do that for you. But if you're, for example, an Arab nation that has strict policy requirements around the use of profanity within a domain name, or the king's name, or anything like that, there's some rules there. Do you need to have a local presence? Yes, that's important to a lot of you. So we can't just have a very, very basic set of policy, hence the little sad face. You're supposed to go,